All right. Let's see. So that's open. That's on. Okay. Let's go live over here and live over here. Okay, great. Good morning, everyone in the world that might see this at some point, whether it's today, tomorrow, whatever. Good morning. Today, Wednesday, April 26th, 2023. I'm Matt Drinkon, your pro advisor coach and your host of the Eternal Optimism podcast. And as we dive in and get started today, I'd like to share that I'm incredibly grateful. I'm excited that Julie, my loving dear wife, here on day 7 of being away, she is on the road. And she left early this morning and she is going to be home today. So excited. We're praying for safe travel. She's coming home today, man. So very excited to see her. This is the longest I've gone without seeing her since the day that we became Facebook official, which is way back in 2012 August, when we became the Facebook official couple. We are a couple, right? So excited to see Julie. I'm grateful. I'm humble. I'm a little bit embarrassed today, and I'm going to share with you why, and I'm going to own that publicly about why I'm embarrassed. I'm also excited and optimistic for a great day today for a number of reasons. But first, I've got to own. Here's the agenda for this call today. First, I'd like to share that today we're going to talk about how to apologize, how to say you're sorry when you make a mistake, how to do that, how to do it gracefully or not so gracefully. You can be the judge of that. Opinions vary. I'm going to share a public apology because I have made a big mistake and I've got to own it. And I don't know if anyone will ever see this, or a couple of you might see this. Who knows? But I want to share an apology. So that's one part of today. I also would like to address something that I actually don't agree with on my Opt for Optimism page a day calendar. A quote that we're going to get into today, and we will go through the magic of thinking big. One nugget of wisdom. When I was thinking about the apology, I like to go to sources of wisdom, that might guide us in how we might act or respond in certain circumstances. And one of the go-to sources for me is The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, which my dad gave to me. This exact copy he gave to me when I was in high school, and he was selling Amway back in the day. And you can see that some of the so the covers of it are already ripped and torn and tattered to shreds. But it's a book that's had a great influence in my life, so I'll share some wisdom from that. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started here today. So first, today is day 68 of 100 Days of Eternal Optimism. Progress on the book. Yes. Progress on the mastermind course. Yes. We are working on both of those things, working on the call to action. I think I might even have my first commitment for the mastermind, and I don't even have the value proposition out publicly yet. And I believe we got the first commitment for the first person that's going to be in it. So I'm excited for that. So a lot of good things are happening here, team. But let's go ahead and dive in first with this quote of the day. So I got a quote of the day. It comes from my Opt for Optimism page a day calendar, which I draw much inspiration. And the quote of the day here, it says, happiness is a mood. Positivity is a mindset. Happiness is a mood, and positivity is a mindset. So I can appreciate this statement right here, that happiness is a mood, because to some people, I will give you, happiness is a mood. Sadness is a mood. Happy might be an emotion. Sad might be an emotion. So it could be a mood. It could be an emotional state to be happy. And positivity is a mindset. Well, I'm going to take it to a little different place. I believe that happiness and positivity, I believe that both of those can be a mindset. Both of those can be internalized to the point that you are in this genuine foundational place of happiness, of positivity, right? So if happiness is a mood, but my foundation is already set to, I'm genuinely happy, then is happiness a mood? If it's already who you are. So I'm struggling a little bit with this. Happiness is a mood, positivity is a mindset, and I'm struggling to articulate the exact difference. That's how I feel about it. So that's a little bit about happiness is a mood and positivity is a mindset. I believe that the reason I'm here today in this discussion on this live stream is to apologize. So I'm going to make a public apology now, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of thoughts around apologizing, how you might do it, some certain circumstances that if you're in those, how you might actually apologize, and see what value you might get from that. And to kick things off, here's the apology, and I'll share the circumstance very openly. I have a podcast, the Eternal Optimist podcast. You've all heard it. And I have the privilege of meeting some amazing people. Many of the people that I meet are people that are incredibly busy in their professional worlds. And there was one such person that I was referred to by a very influential and key person in my professional world. She made the introduction to someone, and I scheduled a call with that person. That call was this morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. And I had gotten into a habit where I don't look at my calendar in the 6 a.m. Eastern Time in the last week because my schedule has shifted in the past 6 days since Julie went out of town to support her family 10 hours away. So I get an email this morning. It comes through at 6:09 a.m. Now I've been up for hours. I've not looked at my calendar for the day because I already looked at it. I already have the agenda for every call, everything we're doing today. So I did not bother to look at my calendar in the 6 a.m. time frame. And at 6:09 a.m. this morning, I looked down at the phone because it's on, and there are not children around me at the exact moment that I looked down. And I looked down, and oh my goodness, I got an email saying, "Matt, are we still on the call?" And I thought, oh, my heart just dropped and it sunk. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have just stood someone up. I have just embarrassed myself by standing someone up. And I am here to apologize to the world for doing that. And I'm going to apologize to this person. I already did in an email message that I fired off. And you know what? I might even go ahead and pull up that email message and share that. It went something of this nature. And I'll just call the person that I stood up this morning. I'll just call that person Jennifer. That's not their real name, but if it were, I'll just say Jennifer. Jennifer, I wanted to share that I completely dropped the ball here. You know, I have to own it that there's no excuses. I dropped the ball. You know, my schedule's shifted and I was unaware of the calendar this morning at 6 a.m. my time, and I dropped it. And I completely apologize. And I'd love to have you on. I'd love to have you on the show, and I'd love to reschedule if you're up for that. And you know, if you're not, I understand. But I completely apologize, and I hope to make it up for you, make it up to you. And that's what I said in the email as I made the mistake, and I'm the one that dropped the ball. All right. So here's the idea. The idea is that if you make the mistake, right, then we apologize. We own it wholeheartedly, fully, that we made the mistake. We move forward. And first of all, the moment that it happened, I felt this tremendous sense of, oh man, I'm embarrassed, a little bit of shame. My reputation is one that, you know, I pride myself on being on time, actually early for everything, and I just completely forgot. So I felt that way about it, and own it, own it, and then move forward with it. So I felt that way for a minute. You know, I smack my leg and then move forward with it. Move forward in the day. It doesn't have any emotional hangover right now. There's no residual bad thought or feeling, because once the emotion comes in, the way that I process emotions is that most emotions are ones that come into the body. You know, I pause, I acknowledge that something is happening, it's present. Take a couple of breaths, take a couple of breaths, and then I accept that I made the mistake. I accept that I made the mistake. So that cycle, if you're making a mental note of it, pause, acknowledge that we've made a mistake, acknowledge that there's an emotion present, breathe, 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 and then accept that you've made that mistake, and then move forward from there. And normally in about 90 seconds, my emotions pass right through. So you don't have any emotions lodged in the back of my muscles or in my neck or in the body somewhere, causing stress that's building up over time. And I've shared in great detail over time that I always have what I would call my emotional anchor or artifact in my pocket. So yes, the smiley face ball was in my pocket this morning at 6:09 a.m. when I was getting ready to make breakfast for the kids, and I saw that email come through. So apologies publicly, own them. You know, own that you made a mistake and then move forward. And if you want to forgive yourself, have that way of accepting it, that it's not going to change. You can only apologize for it and then move forward. And that's how I would do it. Now, if you are a leader of an organization, and the organization could be an organization of one, leading yourself. It could be leading your family, you and a significant other in a relationship. It could be children involved. It could be any number of circumstances. It could be your team in business, your sales team, your operations team, your entire organization. It can be leader of a group, a study group or a mastermind group, or a soccer team. It can be any team, any group. Have you ever been a part of a group before where the leader never apologized for anything? They continued to make mistakes or hurt feelings or do something that might have merited an apology. They would never own it, never own the apology. They would always delegate the blame to someone else. They would always go to a place where you were made to feel guilty because they made the mistake. So instead of them apologizing, they shrug it off and they put the blame on you. I've been a part of places like that before. And it's not fun. And it's very demoralizing and demeaning to be in a place like that. So the antidote to that, to be a strong leader, and this definition of strong leadership is when you make mistakes, you own them. You own them fast, you own them publicly, and you own them authentically, and then you move forward. That's how you do it. You make a mistake. What are some of the mistakes you might make? Well, I'll give you a mistake as a parent that I made a number of times. I've made that a number of times this week, right? And I have apologized to my children a couple of times already this week because one time I forgot to do an arts and craft project for one of my daughters, and I apologized to her for not doing that with her. Right. Another thing that happened this week is that I was frustrated that one of my children didn't say thank you when I bought them a meal. I was frustrated when one of my children, when I made them dinner, the first thing that they said was, "I don't want this." I was frustrated by that. And I didn't yell at them, but my body language was such that it might have made them feel a little bit of shame or make them feel bad. I don't know if they're recognizing all of the emotions yet. I had to apologize to my children. Apologizing to a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, not from a position of weakness where you let them walk all over you, where you apologize just for anything, everything, all the time. No, from a genuine place of I made a mistake and I need to own that. I need to own that with you. And what does that do for you when you apologize to your children? As this first example, well, it allows you to connect with them and empathize with them. Because remember, if you're 46 and you're 6'6" and your children are 48 pounds and they are 6 years old, just imagine without the full understanding and computation of emotions yet, that when you are someone that has body language towards them or frustration towards them, imagine how that makes them feel. You're not fully processing the stuff, the level that I can, that you can in your 40s, in your 30s even. So I want to give an opportunity to really say, I'm sorry to my children. I've learned this by being in the front row dads, I might add, the apology to my children. That's one example. Let's go to another example. It's probably pretty common in your relationship that you're in. There was a challenge for me once upon a time where I remember, I'm a high energy person. I wake up this way in the morning and I'm pretty high energy for all day and I'm high energy at night. I mean, I'm pretty energy guy, right? Uh, Actually, I'm not pretty energy guy. I would say I'm pretty high energy most of the time. And that could be a lot for my wife to handle in the morning because she's not like wake up and like just go to it immediately. She needs that cup of coffee. So sometimes in the morning, I might get frustrated when I'm trying to connect and engage and start the morning with some positive energy. And, she's not engaging. And I ask questions and, it's something where she's not fully into the question game yet. And I might go to my cave, to quote John Gray from Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And Julie's love language is quality time, right? My love language is words of affirmation. So when it comes to spending quality time, I'm ready to do it in the morning, right there, right then and there. I'm ready to spend it when we're present together and we're really present together in the morning, right? So I have to apologize to her sometimes because when I get cold water poured on my high energy in the morning, she doesn't really want to connect. I might go just get straight to business modes, get straight to crushing tasks and doing things. and may not make time to connect and chat shortly thereafter. And I have to apologize for that sometimes, because I can get, if I get slighted or in some way just not connecting with her, then I go straight to business mode sometimes, right? So I need to apologize for that from time to time for ignoring that. If she's having a tough day, I mean, I know that many times, and this might be a common thing sometimes between men and women, that many times, men might have this stereotypical, whether it's earned or not, it might be stereotypical way that we sometimes want to fix things. Rather than feel it and listen, sometimes we just want to hear a challenge from our significant other and we want to fix it. We want to help them get through the pain, help them move through it. That's not always what they're looking for. Sometimes they're just looking to be heard, understood, and appreciated for that. And this is a real challenge for a lot of men that I know, a lot of leaders that I know too. All right. So for me personally, I've fallen into my own trap a number of times and tried to fix things. And instead of trying to fix it all the time, sometimes I just got to feel. I can catch myself sometimes trying to fix things for Julie, and she doesn't need me to fix anything. She doesn't need to mansplain it or fix it. She just wants to feel understood and have some empathy shown her way. So I have to apologize sometimes when I get frustrated when she shares a challenge. That it's a big thing for her, and she's feeling this emotion right now inside, and it's a big thing for her. And it might not be the same thing if I hear the challenge. It might not be the same thing and the same scale for me. I might move through it in a different way. I might move through a specific challenge faster than she might, for example, right? So if I do that, then I don't understand how sometimes she doesn't move through it faster. And then the learning lesson for me is that I need to just pause and learn to listen and feel rather than fix. That's another opportunity for an apology. How about an employee or a teammate? How about an employee or a teammate? What if someone's late? I had this situation happen yesterday where I'm talking to a client, and this is a high-level leader of a large, very successful organization, and one of their top key employees, showed up and said through text, said that I'm not feeling great today. I think I'm going to stay home. One of their top employees, and this leader of the organization texted something back to him that was very direct, and it was not very empathetic. And it was, no, you need to come into the office today. Suck it up, basically, right? And that caused some tension, some real tension between that employee and that leader. That's one of the high-level producers of this organization and the leader of the organization. And our coaching call was hijacked for some time to work on, what is your process for how you might respond when an employee texts you that. That's what the coaching call became. It's how we practice that, practicing empathy and practicing understanding and practicing that dialogue, whether it's through text or face to face. And it ended up being a leader apologizing for the way they responded. All right, so those are a few things to kick off the day here, team. I'm going to just share with you a little nugget here from this book, and we're going to wrap things up. I'm going to take the kids to school, and we're going to run off the day. So first, I have on page 39, here comes some wisdom from David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big. 3 ways to cure intelligence excusitis. That's an affliction. Excusitis. That's an affliction when you make excuses for everything. And the reason I bring it up right now is because it's very simple to make an excuse when you need to apologize. And rather than apologize, just say an excuse. Oh, I couldn't make it. Yeah, well, you couldn't make it. Well, on their end, they deserve an apology because you wasted their time, right? You wasted their time. So here is the wisdom that I read from this morning for our live stream. And, when I made that mistake, and I apologize for it. Number 1, never underestimate your own intelligence and never overestimate the intelligence of others. Don't sell yourself short. Concentrate on your assets. Discover your superior talents. Remember, it's not how many brains you've got that matters. Rather, it's how you use your brains that counts. Manage your brains instead of worrying about how much IQ you've got. So I read that on page 39. And if intelligence is an asset and managing your brains, is the most respectful way to move forward, then here's how I manage it. I manage it by owning my mistakes, own them authentically, own them publicly, and own them as quickly as you can and get through it, move through that apology quickly. So having shared that, my friends, I hope you have a fantastic day here on Wednesday, April the 26th, 2023. And when I see you again tomorrow morning, God willing, I will be with my wife and the kids, and everyone will be here. I might even get Julie to make an appearance tomorrow morning on the live stream. We'll see. Because if you look back here in the background, if you can see this, we got something new. We've got this really cool new Google Mesh home network I'm going to set up today. So I'm hoping that we're going to have an even better internet connection than ever, and things are going to go really well. Anyways, make it a great day today, team, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.